Hi everyone, it's Liam here from Rating the Races. So we are back with another video, this time looking at Saturday's racing. And I've got some selections for Saturday. I've got two at Fairyhouse that the prices are not yet available. I always think that's ridiculous how long it takes for bookmakers to price up. But I'll give you what sort of prices I think they might be, and if we can get bigger than that, I'll be happy with that. So starting off at Haydock, where we do have prices, and it's the 2 mile series final, and it's 25 grand to the winner, and there is a horse I like here. So Mildam is actually a non-runner. Mildam's just been declared a non-runner. For me, it revolves around the two at the head of the market, and they are Brentford Hope and Playful Saint. Now, Brentford Hope I think he's been a little bit disappointing this season. Particularly on the back of his run when third behind Hansard. I think he should have won at Newbury after that when he was second to Spring Note. He then won a nothing race at Newcastle. Yeah, at Newcastle. Went up £5 for that, and that wouldn't have been ideal, to be honest. Those £5, you take those £5 off, it gets in here comfortably. And I mean, what was that worth? That was worth £5,000 to win that. Have they cost themselves a chance of winning this 25 by winning a £5,000 race? It could, in hindsight, look a bit of poor bit of placement from the trainer. I'm taking him on anyway. I'm taking Brentford Hope on with Playful Saint. Now, I really like Playful Saint. He actually made my horses to follow this season. And when I wrote that, Playful Saint didn't appear to have a trainer, didn't look like he was in training at all, and I imagine he wasn't, and he eventually went back to Dan Skelton. He had his first run for 366 days on the 1st of this month, when finishing a next second to Mildam. Now, off the back of that long layoff, I think that was a perfectly good run. He was also taking on Mildam, who came into the race on the back of 2 wins from 3, and yet Playful Saint still went off the 5-4 favourite. On his run at Sandown, when he was behind Isio and Knickerbocker Glory, in front of the likes of Fine Casting, Hardy Desoy, Jello, Metier, Punctuation, I think Playful Saint has loads left still to come. Loads still to come. So he ran in that race behind Isio of 135. And I don't think he was given the best of rides that day by Harry Skelton. I think he got him way too far behind, ran on really strongly, and they wouldn't have been disappointed that he ended up getting dropped £4 before his return. He's gone back up 3 of those, back up to 134, but off 135, I think he ran a really good race in the Imperial Cup. I think he can run a really big race here. It is worth 25 grand to the winner. Obviously, Dan is trying to win top trainer. I think this is one of those that he kind of got plans for the others, the likes of Lo de Sud, Favre, Knickerbocker Glory, and he didn't want to just run them all against each other and waste, really nicely handicapped horses against each other and finish first, third and fifth and go up £3 with another one. And he's kept this one away. And yeah, I think he's going to win this race, to be honest. I think the ground isn't an issue. He was second on heavy in the Imperial Cup. The soft ground won't be an issue. I think there is a lot more still to come from Playful Saint. Whereas Brentford Hope, that £5 going up last time won't have been ideal. So I'm going to go for the second favourite here, which you can currently get at 4-1 still. You can still get 4-1 even though Mildam is out. I don't really like any of those behind. I don't think Salsada can bounce back just yet. It is out of the front 2 in the market for me, and I'm hopeful that Playful Saint is the one to be on. We move on to the 3:15, the Veterans Handicap Chase finale, and I think there's been a clever bit of placement from a trainer in this race, and the horse I'm going for is Riders on the Storm. So Riders on the Storm, not that long ago, was finishing second in an open handicap behind Whistle in the Dark. He then went to Aintree for a veterans race over 2.5 mile on his return from 243 days off the track. He went off the 7-5 favourite. What on earth are those odds? And disappointed. Without doubt, he disappointed. But he bounced back last time out, went over 2 mile in a handicap chase, beaten by En Public, beating Malistic, beating Tommy's Oscar, and beating the Big Bite. That, for me, is a massive run. It's against horses better than what he's taking on here. B, it's against younger horses, the likes of En Public. The winner was only 7. Tommy's Oscar's a graded horse. And I thought it was over too short. That trip over 2 mile would have been far too short for Riders on the Storm. And for me, that is a real bounce back to form. I think they've got him back after his wind surgery. Clearly, he's running really good race. I think that was very, very good. And thought they would be going off to Aintree after that for one of the handicaps at Aintree. They come here for this Veterans finale. I totally understand why as well with the prize money. £52,000 to win this. I think Riders on the Storm has... That performance last time out wasn't given enough credit at all for A, it was over too short, B, it was against younger horses, and it was against better horses than what he's taking on here. Yes, he's got to give away the weight this time because he's towards the top of the handicap. I think he'll beat these. I really do. I think he's still showing plenty of ability, and that wind op, I think, really worked, and that helped him get second last time over a trip that would have been too short. So my selection here is actually on the drift a bit. Riders on the Storm, you can get 5 to 1, you can get 4s in lots of places. So Riders on the Storm is my selection at Haydock in the 3:15. The third selection comes in the 3:35. I won't go on about this on too long because I have done another video about this already. Released it on Tuesday, I think it was. And that is Tritonic in the Musselburgh Queen's Cup. I like Tritonic. I think he is well handicapped. I think he's well handicapped over hurdles as well. And even potentially now over fences off the back of what he did last time. So last time out he actually ran in a chase. And he was beaten by Ginny's Destiny, Grey Dawning, Trelawn, and Crebilly. They finished first and second in a Grade 1 at the Cheltenham Festival, second in a handicap. Trelawn went off favourite for the Ultima. Tritonic actually had no chance against them. But going back to his flat form, so obviously this is on the flat, his flat form is very good. And actually the last time he ran over this trip, he was 4th behind Post Impressionist, Keys Chorister, thank you for correcting me on the pronunciation of that one, Keys Chorister and Enemy. Now, all 3 of those have gone on to better things abroad. So, Post Impressionist went to Australia, Keys Chorister went to France, and Enemy went to Saudi Arabia, and is also in the Dubai World Cup. That was his last run, Tritonic's last run over this 1 mile 6. That came off a mark of 100, down to 97. I think he runs a huge race here. Callum Hutchinson actually takes another 3 off, so he's effectively running off 94. I'd be disappointed if he doesn't run a really big race here, Tritonic. And he is currently available at 14 to 1 still. The 2 at Fairyhouse that we don't currently have odds for, hurry up bookmakers, that I like, and I will give you an example of what I think their price should be. Starting off in the 4:30 at Fairyhouse, the listed Novice Handicap Hurdle Series Final. The horse I like here is the very unexposed, and the horse that I think is significantly ahead of his mark here is Olympic Man. So I will give away something about the ratings. Our ratings are suggesting his last time out effort was huge in comparison to what handicap mark he's been given. He beat a horse called Don Chalon very comfortably, and I think they've been very careful with this horse, probably to try and get him to a race like this. I think he'll go on to bigger and better things in time to come in the future. But in the meantime, they've carefully placed him to get him off a relatively low handicap mark with something like this in mind. That last amount effort was massive on our ratings, and it should be, in my opinion, too good to win this. I think the horse, the step up in trip as well, will probably really suit. And if we say he was being beaten over 2 mile, now he's running in his first handicap over 3. Maybe those defeats over 2 mile weren't actually that bad. It's just that he needed significantly further. Yeah, I think he's going to run a really big race here. All I want him to do is jump a little bit better than he did last time. I think he'll probably be priced up about 2 to 1. Anything bigger than that, and I'll be quite happy with that, to be honest. And finally, the last selection from me tomorrow will be in the 505 at Fairyhouse, the Rybo Handicap Hurdle. And the selection I will be going for, or the horse I will be going for, is the Noel Mead trained Helic Dream. So I think Helic Dream was being handicapped all season. I thought his first couple of efforts behind the likes of Firefox and then King of Kingsfield were runs with handicaps in mind. He then stepped up in a maiden hurdle, and I think they won it without meaning to. Ascending ran a really poor race that day. Helic Dream got up to win, and yeah, thankfully the handicapper didn't go mental about Helic Dream for winning that. The runner-up, Angostura, has come out and won since, so that has franked the form nicely. And I expect him to run a really big race here, Helic Dream, in a handicap off what I think is a very low mark for him. We do have to remember that the horse did come from the flat, where he had some form. He had some really good form, really good flat form. Was rated as high as 105. He's only rated 125 over hurdles at the moment. I don't think that's enough when he gets his act together. And I think even last time when he was beaten by Fun and a couple of others in a decent, was it a graded race? A grade 3 King's First Hurdle, beaten by Fun, Mirazur West and Mayans Way. They're just graded horses. Helic Dream's running in a handicap off 125. I think that's too short. I think we're not going to see Helic Dream favourite. I think we might see the likes of Comfort Zone or, probably Comfort Zone. Maybe Risk Bell could be quite short as well. I'm hoping we can get about 4 to 1 about Helic Dream. If we can, I think he's a good bet in that race. I think he will run I think this will be what they've been aiming at all season. Something like this, a handicap, rather than the listed races and the graded races. And they had to go in the graded race last time because they were like, well, we've won a maiden hurdle now. Let's see if we are graded company. No, we're not. Let's get back to handicaps and take out a big prize, 51 grand for the winner. So, a quick recap. The first one is Playful Saint. I think they've looked after him. He's clearly had issues, but now he can show his true colours. He's still a pound lower than when he finished third in an Imperial Cup. I like Riders on the Storm. I think the step back up in trip will suit him, and I think the wind surgery really helped last time, and he ran a really good race for second over a trip that should have been too short. 3:35 at Musselburgh, you all know it is it's Tritonic, who I think will run a big race off this low handicap mark. In the 4:30 at Fairyhouse, I'm looking for a bit of a price about Olympic Man. Anything above 2 to 1 will be happy. I think step up and trip will really suit him. And finally, Helic Dream. Now he's in a handicap. This is what the whole season's been about for him, I believe, or I think. And I'm hoping for a really big run.